Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Be Live. I'm your host, Harry Bridgeforth, and today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, all around good guy, musician, artist, and producer, Mr. James Artissen. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
What's up, brother? What's going on?
Long time no talk. I know you got a lot of business going on, and we've been trying to situate things. I know on my end, as we do in the studio and stuff like that. So I finally got you. And for today, we can pick your mind a little bit. For those who don't know James, he's a musician. Once again, a musician. He's an artist, a producer, and he's a Grammy-nominated artist. So we're going to pick his brain a little bit about his professional life. And just like the rest of any other show, we're going to ask him a few questions about his personal life, round up with some contact information so that you can reach out to James if you're interested in working with him, talking to him, picking his brain some more, having him on your shows. And then we're going to close with some details, okay? How's that sound?
Let's get it.
All right. So we're going to go right into it. So first off, the origin of James Artissen. How did that come about? How'd you get into music?
Origin of James Artissen. It's really not a one thing answer. It's kind of been a influx of a lot of different things. So just to kind of give you the backstory, from Queens, New York.
Okay.
Anybody who knows about New York has always been the hub and the mecca, if you will, of entertainment, especially music. And that's just kind of what I've always been around, is the arts, music, just artistic expression is what was always around me. And sometimes I would say it's been in me because I've kind of been born into it, in a sense. So I was just one of those young kids where not only did I love music and the arts, but I was a stickler for information. I was a sponge. I was one of those curious kind of kids to where, like, how did they do this? How did they do that? I want to learn that. I want to go here. I want to go there. So it was a lot of that, and just a lot of just trying to be around the fold of greatness.
Okay.
In the sense that my father used to do security for celebrities back in the day, so I met a lot of people through him, and different scenarios. And I would go to record stores every weekend and buy albums that I never heard, to read the credits and see the inserts and the album covers, and just whoever had to fly whatever at that time, I was just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And as time went on and I got older, I just started perfecting the craft, bit by bit. And
was it always singing? Was it always
no, actually,
or was it
in the beginning? It was songwriting in the beginning. So it was strictly songwriting, which later turned into music production. Then music production became audio engineering, and then the artistry part was like the last additive. So most people don't even realize I didn't become a solo artist until probably 2017. So even before I became a solo artist, I was in a group before then, and that was a interesting situation in itself. But yeah, everything kind of started from songwriting and music production.
All right. I mean, a lot of times when we, at least for me, when I talk to a lot of artists, because just being in the music industry for a short period of time, you get the sense that every artist that you talk to has like a wide range of things, and they kind of like narrow themselves into a space where that's like their strong suit. Like for instance, if you're a songwriter, how songs are developed, written, put together. And usually you're writing the song in your head because you're like, oh, if I could sing it this way, this is how I would write it. And then you get an artist to sing it the way that you want it to be sung. And a lot of times what happens is like you're writing a song, you're like, sing it this way. And then eventually you're like, well, I can sing it. You know what I mean? Or maybe I could try to sing it. And then when you find out you have a talent for it, that usually takes off. I've seen that with multiple different artists. You got John Legend, you got Neo, those are some of my favorite, but you have the idea that you start as the person that's behind the camera or behind the pen, and then you end up being in front. So how was that like transition from you being like an artist, a songwriter, to now you're an artist in front of the camera? You got to think about transition. You got to think about, you know, the visuals versus the audio. Like, how does that work?
It was a pretty cool and, believe it or not, smooth transition, because at the time, you know, I was writing for a lot of major artists, producing for a lot of major artists, and I was just in that groove. And then this was probably 2016. At the time, I was working with an artist by the name of International Nova.
Okay.
And he's from New York as well, and he had just recently moved to Atlanta. And I was already in Atlanta, so I was kind of like one of the first people he met in Atlanta. And we kicked it off, and I started working with him on his project. He had an album that he was working on, and he was the person that kind of proposed the idea of doing a group situation.
Okay.
It kind of started with me just demoing hooks for him.
Mm-hmm.
And once we kind of got a catalog of records done, he was like, you know, let's just kind of keep one or two of them and see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
Because they did sound good. So he's like, well, let's just see what we can do. So we ended up using one of them, which was a song called Wine for Me. So we put out that single as the group. The group name was Kings X2, myself and him. And we put out this one single called Wine for Me. And probably the month after it came out, we debuted number 10 on the Billboard charts.
Oh, wow.
So this is a total.
Now you know. Now that's a guarantee. That's a fact. Like, okay, that's working. So whatever we got.
Yes, you know, something was working, right? And, you know, not only that, but that was my debut as an artist, period.
Yeah, yeah.
Anytime I was on a song publicly, period, for the public to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the total beginning of my artistry. And, you know, once we did our thing with that record, and, you know, we disbanded after some time after that, that's when I became the solo artist, which was 2018.
Okay.
And you know, just kept going from there.
Now, we were talking off camera beforehand. When I first met you, you had a different name.
Right.
And recently you changed it. So I was like, okay, like, you know, is that something that was deliberate? Was it something that was, you know, changed because you had to change it? What was the inspiration to change your name to that?
Got you. Well, of course, you know, as you know, and you know, the rest of the world know, I went by James Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And most people do know that I also share the same name with the basketball player, James Worthy. And, you know, for some time, you know, there was a little bit of confusion about, you know, who was what, who did what, you know, and so forth and so forth. So, you know, after a while, it was just kind of getting, you know, too taxing, and you know, you get kind of tired of discussing.
Explaining that? Like, yeah.
Explaining it, you know, so I'm like, you know what?
I'm not that.
You know, it's you know, because both of us would get tons of messages about, you know, people just asking the same questions all the time. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just kind of regroup. Let me rebrand. Let me reset my, you know, my situation. And that's what birthed James Artissen, because not only I wanted to kind of step away from the confusion part, but, you know, I'm in a space in my career now where I'm doing things much differently. My music has changed much differently, and I'm just in a different space in life. And I feel like the name James Artissen is what embraces that.
That's awesome. One of my mentors, a good friend of mine, Mr. June Archer. We always talk, and I had him on my show a couple of years ago. And one of the main things that we always talk about is how he was influenced by Michael Bivins, and how he kind of taught him how to like pivot through and literally navigate through his career, and how you become something different. You start off as one thing, and you can't stay in one box if something isn't working, or if something is working but you want to expand. So it's always good to like grow. So that's why when I first saw the change, and like I said, we've actually worked on projects together in the past, And I remember seeing the name, and I'm like, did he change it? Like, is it the same person? Like, you know what I mean? Did they alter something? Because we're talking through like social media and things like that. It's always kind of, like you said, it's difficult looking up information on people if they have the same name, and then it's like, are you related to the guy? Like all that stuff. So it was cool how you kind of separated it. Now I know like that's the same thing. That's the meaning behind it. So that's pretty cool.
And you know, I kind of did it in a more of a mystique design kind of way, because it wasn't a whole press release going out about, oh, James changed
his name, yeah.
Or, you know, it wasn't a whole big thing about it. It was more of a thing of, I'm just gonna do it, but then I know people are gonna like notice anyway, and I know people are gonna say something about it anyway, so that's kind of all the press that I need, you know. So that was kind of
enough. Kind of like people are gonna start asking, like, okay, why did you do this and whatever.
Yeah, so it kind of worked itself out in its own unique way, but then also it's almost like the factor of people are now intrigued more of my name, because not only about the name change, but they want to know what Artissen means. Want to know, you know, why did you choose that? You know, it sounds so cool. You know, all these different, you know, additives to, you know, what the brand is now, which that's what I wanted. Yeah. You know, so yeah, I think it worked out.
I mean, I can attest to that. When I first saw it, it was something like, oh, I mean, I was assuming that it's related to like being an artist or having something that's related to like some type of music, but it was cool to say that it's separate from what you used to be, and it was like an evolution. Because I followed you over the years, and like we said, we've talked over the years. We worked on different projects, so when you see someone like change into another name or go from one industry to another, it always shows like they're growing in some fashion. And when I saw it, I was like, it is a cool name. It's different. It kind of goes hand in hand with what you're doing, but it kind of doesn't eat too. So it was pretty cool to kind of say, okay, like this is different. Why? And I mean, that kind of leads into next question with, you know, when we're talking about artists, there's always someone that influences you as an artist. Who is your favorite artist, and like why? Like, how do they influence you?
You know, that's usually a difficult question, because like my musical taste has always been pretty broad. Okay. So, but I would say that growing up, and they still are my favorite hip hop group, which is A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay, cool.
Grew up on them.
That's a good choice.
You know, like I tell this story all the time. Like the first album that I ever bought was Midnight Marauders. Okay. Which is, you know, hands down a classic. But you know, even past Tribe, big Houdini fan. Shout out to Houdini. Sheik and Nile Rodgers, Nas, Kanye West, Q-Tip, Jay Dilla, Pharrell Williams, Max Martin. I mean, the list goes on. You know what I mean? Like it's you know, it's hard for me to answer because it's like music is just so endless. Yeah. It's just so many styles and inspiration to choose from. So it's like hard to just choose one.
I mean, a lot of times when I do talk to artists, it usually is very complicated. It's kind of like saying like to an actor, like, who's your favorite actor? Like, it's like, oh, who's my favorite actor with this particular genre? Like, you know what I mean? So it's always like somebody stood out to you when you were younger that was like, that's the reason why I would rather do music, or at least go in that field because of that. Like, so who do you think is like that person that made you go like, yeah, I think I might want to go to music?
Well, I would say this. When growing up, Tribe was my favorite group because not only their influence, but you know, they were the first album that I ever bought. Yeah. But even before that, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Okay, that's a good choice.
And the reason being is because I actually got a chance to meet him.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people didn't have that chance. You know what I mean? I met him when I was 11 years old.
I mean, I would do it.
I would do it, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
But having that encounter and that exchange, that's kind of what sealed the deal to say, hey, I think music might be the way. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, I got to meet my idol. I got to meet the person that's at the top.
Yeah.
You know, like most people can't even get into that space. You know what I mean? So I thought that was just like the inkling of there's no better situation than that.
Yeah.
So this has to be the path. And, as the years went by, I'm like, okay, let me figure out what my lane is going to be in this path, and let me perfect that. And that's how the journey started.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I always look at it like I don't know your belief system, but I believe in God, so I always look at it like, He creates these doors. You have to be willing to walk through it, and you have to be willing to understand there's always going to be a pro and a con to it. But first, just having that chance to meet the person that you value in that regard. But at the same time, after that, that's the most important piece. After you met him, what did you get from that? And then how did that influence your life? Like, how did you use that knowledge that you got from him, and then it propelled your life in a certain direction? So I mean, you can meet a famous person, a celebrity, an idol, someone, a mentor, some other person that has been in a place that you would like to be, or you admire, or whatever the case may be. But it's typically what you do after the fact that really dictates you as a person, and like I said, it's a kudos to you, because you actually did that. And that kind of goes into like the next situation where we're talking about, you being nominated for a Grammy. Like, that's not an easy task, and it's not something that every artist actually takes or actually gets experience from. So can you elaborate on that? Like, you met Michael, you did you were in a group, you did some songwriting, but now it comes down where you get nominated for a Grammy. And like, how does that feel? How was that process? How'd that go?
Well, to start that off, because that's a big one. Of course, it's a blessing, and it's great. It's always amazing to be, recognized by your peers, industry peers, and the Recording Academy and all that. But actually getting there, it's a lot. When I first got my first nomination, which was for the Justin Bieber album, Purpose.
Okay.
This was like, early 2000s. So it was a different time in music, I would say. Then the business model was a little bit different. Criteria was a little bit different. But then also, I've always been a stickler of relationships and building relationships with the artists, not necessarily the middlemen. You know what I mean? Like, I always go to the source, or I go to the right hand person that's at the source.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot of that, just kind of being in the right place at the right time, being in the right rooms, knowing the right people, of course, having a great product. But even past the nominations or those projects, like, that's with any project that I would have worked on, is making sure that the product is not only good, but just having great relationships, because for one, you don't know what that relationship could turn into for something else, and then you don't know who knows who either. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, you can't burn bridges. You can't do craziness, man. This industry is very small.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? It's kind of like when you would think that there's so many people, because you see so many people doing, I just kind of related to acting and filmmaking, but like, even in that circle, you see so many people that are involved, and it's weird when you see someone that that you didn't think they knew this other person, but they know them and you know them too. It's like, oh, you guys are working. Oh, I know both of y'all. And you didn't know that you both know me. So it's kind of like, when you're in those situations, like you said, relationships are very, very vital, but also you have to be willing to be in that space, but then you have to have some type of talent. Your skill level has to be on par, and you have to be. I always look at it like you have to be comfortable in those rooms. You shouldn't just be in the room because you know this person, know that person. Like, why are you there? And then when someone asks you, you feel comfortable. It's like, yeah, I got my stuff too. It ain't like I'm just here because I'm a +1. You know what I mean? Like I'm here because I'm here. I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, you got to be in the rooms for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the time, you wouldn't be in the room if it wasn't for a reason.
Yeah. And then people are looking like, I don't know him. Like, why? How is he here?
Yeah.
How is she there? So it's always a good thought for artists that are coming up. Like, feel comfortable in your own skin, know that you got talent, and then pursue it. It's a craft, just like any other art form. It's a craft, so it grows as you get older.
And another piece of that too is like you almost gotta like you're selling yourself in a sense. Like you're almost pitching yourself to people that you're great, right? Yeah. You gotta be a go-getter, man. Like it's almost like hustling. Like
it is.
The music industry is like hustling. Like
it is.
You hustle to get to the next opportunity, this situation. It's literally that.
Yeah.
And nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is promised. You literally have to go after it. You know what I mean? But in order to go after it, you have to love it.
Yeah. Because you're going to be challenged, and there's going to be what is the peak and valley? There's going to be times you're going to be on everything, and there's going to be a time when it's like nobody cares. You ain't.
Yeah, man. It's ups and downs, man. It's like a roller coaster. Like, one day you're popping and you're hot, then the next day somebody else is taking your spot. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think people sometimes get so caught up in the popularity aspect of things.
Yeah.
They forget about the craft and the art. Yeah. And they actually forget about, do you actually have an audience that people care about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what if social media went down?
Just to make it. Like you're just following trends. Are you actually sticking to your style, your art, your category, your portfolio, or are you just following what the next person is doing just to get clicks or get likes? It's like, you know what I mean? I totally understand that. That's I was on a commercial that's out now. It's a New Era commercial with Josh Allen. He's like the main focus on it. So it's on the football commercials now. It's out. And when I was there, there's a lot of younger guys that are there. They're starting out their acting career, and they got us in the football uniforms and stuff. And they were asking me questions. They're saying, they kind of considered me like the because I'm the oldest guy that's there, right? And we're talking, and I'm like, it's not about so much how high you get in your craft. You got to think that you're making money off of something that you love. So it shouldn't really matter how much you make. It shouldn't really matter, obviously you have an ideal of what you want to be a part of. You don't want to be doing anything, but at the same time, you are literally getting paid for something that you love to do. Like you would do it if you didn't get paid. So the money is going to come as long as, like you said, you love that craft, because there's going to be times when you're going to do something, you're not going to get paid for it, or you're going to do something you feel like you should have got paid more, but you didn't. So it's like, if you're only there for the money, it's always going to be something that you're always going to be bothered by. You know what I mean? So like, that's the difference. Like you said, it's like someone that's an artist versus someone that's just there just to get the paycheck. And usually if you can get both, that's the balance, that's the goal in all this stuff. Ideally.
I mean, and I ask people all the time, like, what are you doing it for?
What's your why?
Love it, or is it because you see money in it? Is it because of the popularity aspect of it? Do you want to be famous? Like, I think sometimes people don't really ask themselves that question of, why am I doing this? I think they get influenced because they might see that other people have more than them because of this specific thing, or is it a true passion? You know what I mean? Like me personally, it's a true passion. That's what I've always loved to do since a young kid. It just happens that I made it to a point to where like the world loves it too. That's a blessing. But even if I didn't have that, like, I would still love it.
Yep. Yeah, that's the idea, you know, when we're talking about like careers and everything like that. You know, we talk offline, and you know, I'd be picking your brain sometimes with different things, but like, you have a lot of things that are going on, right? For the audience and everything like that. What is like your project that you're working on like right now? Like, what are you actually doing right now? Where you know, that either is a song or is it I mean, you see music videos. You worked on a couple music videos. So, like, what are you actually working on right now? Because I know you're running around doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. So where do we start?
Yep.
Well, last year I launched my label Imprint, which is Humble Sound Records. So that's been a big focal point right now, in the sense of, you know, continuing to build the imprint. I have artists that's on the roster, so we're building them and working on their next projects, putting out singles. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is, in the meantime, I've been putting out, you know, my own singles. Currently, I have 3 singles out. So I have one called City Love, which features Brian McKnight Jr. Another one called All Night with Cujo Goody of the Goody Mob. Another one called One More Thing with Robin S. So we've just been kind of working those singles, you know, to kind of appease the algorithm and the audience until the Big Bang, which is my debut album for next year.
Let's go.
That's my biggest thing right now, is finishing the album.
Okay. Well, you already know. Hit me up for the posters and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. You know, this is for lack of better words, this will definitely be a movie. Because,
let's go. That's what's up.
Because really, what I'm going to do is, because the album is a conceptual album, and it's really an experience, in a sense, musically, but I'm also working on my documentary. So it's going to be a cool documentary that's going to be packaged with the album.
That's what's up.
So, you know, just to kind of maximize not only the essence of the project, but, you know, people just want to see and hear the backstory of me. They want to see, how did I get here? You know, especially with a project like this. This is my debut album. You know, most people didn't even realize that I didn't even drop it.
Have a whole album. That's what I heard so many songs. That's true. It's never I've never seen like, okay, this is a whole album. But I mean, that's what's up.
It's funny. It's funny, like, that you say that, and a lot of other people say that. Like
he's got an album. Everybody's looking like, no, he doesn't. He got a lot of singles. But
I got singles, and I've released EPs. But I've never dropped a whole album yet.
Yeah. That's cool.
So that's the biggest thing. I'm super excited about it. You know, I've been working on it for really the past 3 years.
Okay.
So a lot of creating stuff, scrapping it, reworking it, taking this out, doing this, doing that, you know. So we're kind of like down to the wire now.
Any features that we can ask that you can get into?
Honestly, it's probably gonna be only one feature.
Okay, that's cool.
Most likely, it's a pretty much a solo album for me. Probably 12 songs max. Okay. Probably one feature, and it's gonna be a interesting feature. I would say that it's someone that you definitely would not expect at all. Yeah.
Is it? Because I got, I'm gonna try to get something out. Is it? Is the genre of music? Is there multiple genres? Is it one type of tone? Is it a story setting? Like how is the album itself? Is it different genres of music?
Well, the album is kind of set up in like story format. So from the very first track to the end, it's all real scenario based, like real stories of my life. You know, talking about love, talking about relationships, talking about life, talking about business, politics, like everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Everything is in the project.
All right.
And like as far as like the feature is concerned, the only thing I could tell you is it's a white artist.
Okay. I got a little bit, so I'm gonna be thinking about it. I don't know. I don't know if it's someone that is it someone I've seen before you work with?
No, you haven't.
That's cool. That's cool. All right.
Yeah, this is totally new. Totally new.
Wait. I'm gonna download when they come out. Just let me know.
Oh yeah, you're gonna want to download this. Trust me.
That's what's up. I mean, so we got a little bit of the past, we got a little bit of the present. There's always a look, at least the mindset of most successful people. I consider you successful. You always have like a future plan, something that's 5 years, 10 years. I mean, depending on the person, it all depends on how they set up. But they're always looking to a couple steps ahead. What's the future for James? What are we looking for in the future down the line?
What is the future for James? Not only continuing to build and elevate, but I would take it back to like even early child days where in my mind I always saw myself as a mogul, right? Okay. And being a mogul, you're wearing several hats. Yeah. You have several different brands. You have several different things that you're managing, right? Under your umbrella. Yep. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm continuing to leverage and spread the legs to different brands and different imprints that embody me. You know what I mean? So as the time goes on and the years go on, you're gonna see different offsprings of different things that are from me. And God willing, we want to make these bigger than life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you aim for, right? You got to think about it. It's always tricky, and a lot of the people that I talk to, it's kind of like you never try to set yourself at the minimum, but then also be realistic. But if you don't aim for like I know it sounds like a cliche and all that stuff, but if you don't aim for the stars, land the moon type of thing. So it's like the idea that you're always looking for, well, what if that did happen? When you win the Grammy and you're someone that all these other artists are sought out, you don't know how those relationships are going to affect your career, how they're going to affect your other brands, what other things your resources you're going to have. So it's always like, if that happened, what will I do? Be prepared for that. And then it's like, where am I at right now, and how do I get there? I tell my kids, I have my daughter. She's she just graduated from college. She's going for a master's, and she works for ESPN. And in the beginning, it was kind of like, she went through processes of going to classes, going to schools, and things like that. And you have your ups and downs, but then when you get your spot, it's like, I'm here now. You're actually working, you're actually doing something that you always love, but you can't stop there, because if you stop there, then you're not pivoting, you're not growing. So it's always like, you gotta think future. And if you keep your plan like that.
As a creative, you always have to think in the future.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the equivalent of, and I tell people this all the time too, like, and I guess some people can classify it as arrogance sometime or whatever, but artists and creatives are not regular people.
No, we don't think the same. We don't think about things. We don't see things the same way. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's just a different world. You know what I mean? Yeah. And most people just aren't going to understand that, right? And really, no matter how you explain it, or what you present to them to try to get them to understand it, they just won't. Sometimes we have to be a little bit delusional in thinking. We have to be a little bit crazy, forward thinking. We have to be crazy in our minds. We have to think outside the box, and all these different things, because most of the time, that's what you have to do to get to the next level. Like sometimes opportunities are so like out there that people just think they can't obtain it.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah.
You can. You just have to think broad enough to believe it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like for me, for example, probably the average person wouldn't have been able to do all the things that I have been able to do in my career, but I've been the one to believe that I could.
Yeah.
And I took the steps to do it, and I did it.
Yeah.
You know, so I know if I can do it.
Now you look back, think about it. You look back and you're like, were you ever in that place where it was like, nah, you knew that you were going to be where you are now? I mean, you always hope.
I think that I was, and still am, but I've always believed in the manifestation.
Yeah.
And I believe that as long as I believed it and I thought about it and I worked towards it, I'm gonna get it. And whether if somebody's talented or not, if they have the will and the drive and the consistency of something, eventually they're going to get something.
Those words you just said are like the most impactful. And I remember Denzel Washington saying that, consistency is like the key. You know what I mean? Like that's the idea. Like you never stop. You always continue. If you hit a wall, you go around it. You just keep on over it. There's always going to be some opposition, but it's like being consistent at it. You are destined to get something. You know, it's like when you start at the gym, right? You go to the gym, you do a couple push-ups. You start with 5 push-ups, and that's it. And you go to the gym the next day, you got 6. That's one more. And before you know it, you're doing 50, 60 push-ups, and you can remember when you started with 5. Like it's really literally no different with any other aspect of your life. You just have to be willing to take that step.
That's the whole point. Is you have to be willing to do it.
Yeah. That's the hardest part for a lot of people.
It takes a strong person to be willing to do it in this business, man. Like, trust me, I see it all the time. Like, you might start out strong and then something happens, and it's just like it's like the end of the world. But you gotta have strong, thick skin, man, and you gotta have the will to win, man, because it's not an easy game at all. Like, I would tell anybody who wants to be a entrepreneur, who wants to be a musician, who wants to get in the music business, like, understand it, man. Understand it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
But I mean,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, but think about it. Nothing in life that's not worth it is going to be, anything that's easy is not really worth it. And I always preach that. If you got something quick and easy, it's usually something bad for you. It's usually something that ain't gonna be worth it. You have to dedicate your time. You have to dedicate your life. You have to dedicate and sacrifice things that other people are doing. They're at the club. They're partying. They're drinking while you're in the studio. Honing in your craft, studying other artists, looking at things that work, didn't work. Actually becoming, a well-rounded, not only a person, but like a person that actually is an artist all around. A creative, like you said. The term creative is you're creating something that's not there, that hasn't been there, that's probably can't come from anyone else except you. And that's the difference between someone that's like, I'm only here for a trend, versus someone that's like, this is my brand, this is me. There's only one of me. There's only ever going to be one of me. So if it comes from me, that's what you like, then you can only get it from me. So
absolutely.
That's a tragedy sometimes with artists. I think in the past is like, if stuff isn't valued until the person's gone, but the reality is if you can live your life and, like you said, stay consistent, make the best of what opportunities you have, there is always a door that's open, whether it's here or there. So I kudos to you. I've seen your growth over the years that we've worked together, and I've seen you grow in different. You worked with a whole bunch of different artists, and like I said, I only pray that you continue to do great things. Keep pushing, keep saying the same way that you are consistent, and there's nothing but blessings coming your way, bro. So I salute you for that. I salute you for that. All right. So the next section, what we're going to do is we're going to ask you about 5 questions, and I consider this the shotgun questions, which are like this or that types of things, just to see like your preference on different things. So you can elaborate as much as you want, or be as short as you want. But this is just to get a lot more of a personal taste for your preferences of these particular things. Okay. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm pretty sure you're going to answer the way I think you're going to answer. But who is the better artist? Okay. Who is the better artist? Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson, of course.
Okay. I mean, that's simple.
There's reasons why, but yeah.
Okay. Better director. So this is a film director. Steven Spielberg or James Cameron?
You know what? I would go with Spielberg.
Okay.
Mainly solely on the fact of I like his eye for camera work.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always admired that.
I mean, usually with any of these questions, it's not like it's not a hit or it's a hit or miss type of situation where you can't go wrong with either one of them. It's just like you said, certain people they like the way Spielberg writes certain things and makes certain things, and some people are Cameron, some people they like Michael Bay. You know, it all depends. But usually in these categories, it's like you're either one or the other. It ain't like you like this person and you like that person. It's like you like this style over them. All right, so you're a Spielberg guy. Apple or PC? Or Apple or Android, sorry. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Apple, okay. Who is the GOAT? Jordan or LeBron?
Oh man, you know that's a cheat question.
No, it's coming. I mean, that's a question I gotta ask everybody, so it is what it is. You know it's gonna be. You can't win with this one.
Yeah, you just can't win.
No, you can't win.
I can't even choose that one. Because I'm fans of both. Like I can't.
Okay. I mean that's a given for most people, but you understand the debate. Everybody is trying to figure out, you know what I mean, like who is actually the better player, who's got the more titles, and for I think until LeBron got the all-time leading scorer with points, it wasn't until then that I was like, I mean, he's definitely in the category, but I don't think he's better than Mike. But like I could see how now. His longevity, his career, the type of guy he is in and outside of on the court and things like that. I could see how the argument could be debatable because I grew up watching Jordan, so it was definitely when younger kids are like, yeah, LeBron is the greatest one. I'm like, nah, bro. I mean, I can't sit with you.
I mean, I would say he's the GOAT of probably their generation. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To someone like me and you, yeah, we grew up watching Jordan, and it was a different time and a different era, and teams were way different back then. Like the league was way different. Like it was kind of like no rules.
No. and it's hard because you can't really gauge it. That's why this is probably one of the hardest debates.
Yeah.
Like you can't really gauge. Remember my son was saying like, could Jordan come and play in this league now, or could LeBron go back and play with Jordan? And I'm like, I mean, I think he could, but I don't think he would be the same type of player, I would say.
I mean, that's a good question. Like, would Jordan really be Jordan in this time?
In this time.
Yeah, like
it's a hard thing to say because I don't know. I don't know. I know that he would be good. I know they both would be good, and that's why I kind of lead the debate. Is just like, all right, I'm a Jordan person. My son's a little.
Of course, I'm a huge fan of both, but of course,
yeah.
But I like them both for different reasons. I would say that.
Yeah, that's true. But they're both. Like I said, great in their own aspects.
Absolutely.
The last question is more of a scenario question. So you're at a bar, right? And you get bumped by somebody, and the person that bumps you, they want to fight you, right? They want to whatever the situation is. Now they want to fight.
Okay.
They have one of two people, right? Whoever you choose, they get the other person. So it's 2-on-2. Okay? Who are you coming with to fight with you? Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali? In the prime. Not like old Ali, old Mike, young, super young. No. The best version of either one of them to fight with you against the other guy with the other guy. So if you take Ali, the other guy gets Tyson.
You know Tyson, what? I think I would take Tyson. Because Tyson is, I mean, at his prime, he was like an animal. He was like a bully. Like you know, I mean, hell, he's biting people's ears off.
He's still one of the scariest human beings on earth right now, and he's old. I mean, like, it is what it is. I'm a Mike guy too. I love Ali.
I would take the most scariest guy.
I'm taking Mike.
Absolutely.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so that's the actual culmination of the show. I appreciate you being on the show, bro. Like I said, we try to get timing and running around doing everything, but I really appreciate you coming on. Where can the audience find you online?
Everyone can follow me on social media at James Artissen. You can go to the website www.jamesartissen.com and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/James Artissen, and you'll find everything you need to know.
That's what's up. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate James. Definitely make sure you follow him and you support him with everything his moves.
Sir.
And like I said, sir, I appreciate you coming on the show. And like I said, I only pray that blessings come your way. I see your hustle. I see, you working hard, doing your thing. So all I can say is just keep doing your thing, bro. And anything you need from me, I'm there. So
yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna get some more work in.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something. All right,
sir.
All right, bro. I'll check you later. Make sure y'all stay up. Peace.
Peace.